Hi, welcome everyone once again to the Q show. And today we'll be discussing a very important concept, which is from code to culture, the rise of vibe engineering. And of course, we've discussed about vibe coding before, and we've discussed some of the AI slopes, and we're going to be taking some other direction, specifically in the area of vibe coding. So to kick off, I would throw this question to Ibukun and ask, is vibe coding?
Yeah, thank you, IFS. So vibe coding is when you just use your AI agent and you just type in a prompt and it does whatever it wants. You don't really understand what it's doing, which like kind of leads us to this concept called vibe engineering, where it's a way for people who are from the engineering background to sort of use AI agents effectively so you can get the best out of it. So instead of the mindless prompting and just typing whatever you want, like build me Google or build me Facebook, you know all the steps involved in actually building software and things like, okay, I need to do some system analysis. I need to come up with like specifications. I need to probably set up my projects. I need to know about um, secret management. I need to know about database management. I need to know about coding best practices. I need to know like software development concepts, like maybe test driven development. So you sort of like apply all of those concepts into your vibe coding. So now we have vibe engineering.
Yeah, thank you for that. So I actually think this is a very crucial discussion, especially in terms of code quality, because vibe coding has turned everybody into a programmer. To the point that people don't even know what they are doing. Like they're just okay, oh yeah, you can do this, and oh yeah, I'm done coding. But I believe that with this new trend of vibe engineering, where it's more like an iterative process, people are able to increase the quality of their code as they interact more with AI. Yeah, and I'd say, well, AI is still what drives it, right? Or what do you think would drive uh vibe engineering more in this recent time?
Yeah, I mean, so like it depends on your own ingenuity, right? And your own experience, because uh, like the whole experience you get from learning some of these concepts, I've kind of like you now kind of like jump over all of it because with AI agents, you don't need to understand configuration because that's actually why we have some of these AI agents to do some kind of iterative work, like redundant work, like things that are repetitive, which is quite important for like junior devs. Which is why I mean, like the entry level roles now are kind of like reducing over time, and well, maybe that's a bad thing because now you don't have junior devs; you have to rely on experienced people to like use the coding agent. So that's the current state we're now in, is like getting people who already have that experience to use this tool because companies are now kind of mandating the use of uh IDs and support AI agents like Cursor, Windsurf. and the likes. So you kind of have to do it, even if you, yeah, I know I don't want to use AI. Like some other person is already using it and getting things done faster than you. So that's it.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So to just kind of circle back on the topic, from code to culture, the rise of vibe engineering. So the code to culture is more of developing a systematic culture of constant interaction uh, with a programming agent. And I'll be your take on that.
Yeah, so like I said, most companies are now making their engineers use AI agents. So you can't escape it. It's not like before when people were making fun of vibe coding, like you don't even understand what you're doing. But even right now, companies are kind of like use the AI agents. I mean, you even see some job applications. What are your experiences with AI agents? Like you write the ones that you use, you select the ones that you use because it just makes sense to use those AI agents.
Mhm.
And I was making a joke about how we probably need to come up with a new programming language for vibe engineering for the AI agent so we can get consistent um results from it because with new releases of models, you get different results from it. So that's another thing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, to digress, like, what are some of your own experiences with uh vibe coding or vibe engineering? Like, what product have you recently worked on?
Recently, I'm going to say so. It's still developing a model that helps in detecting attacks. If I can, if I should just walk through, is more like I already designed my own algorithm. In fact, you know, we already discussed of we already discussed on why computer science these days matters a lot, and that's actually helps. So I already designed my own algorithm. I already know I have an idea of what I'm expecting as a result. So what do I do? I feed uh some chunks of the algorithm handwritten, of course, into AI. Okay, code this for me. It codes it for me. I mean, I have to read through the code, make sure the code is doing what I want it to do. And there are some times I had to refactor the code, like rewrite some part of the code because it was doing some things unexpected. I, I did that for a couple of days, something which before when I developed that in the past, it took me like weeks of coding. I was able to do it in less than a week. I mean, there were a lot of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But what I even got to understand is, and as I related more with the system, the agent I was using, I even learned more, right? I was able to see like maybe um the model I'm doing. What the agent also did was it was able to go online, look at some other literatures that has been written in that regard, inform me about them, and ask me something like, "Do you want it to go in this direction? Do you want it to go in that direction?" Which, of course, then I have to use my human discretion to choose what I want. But in the long run, even like what is suggested to me, I later had to implement some of those literatures. and in implementing them, it was more easier. I mean, there was one that sent me their whole full code repository, and I was able to just walk around it. But like, it was more easier because now the AI agent has access not only to code, but also to know what already exists. And like we say, AI is not really is not smart. It's not that smart. It is just it just knows a vast amount of things. Cannot really AI cannot think for itself. It just has a lot of information in its pocket that it can dish out to you. So in that regard, the because of the numerous library of uh, information, um, information the system AI agent have access to, I'm also able to learn in that regards that, okay, if I do this way, this will be the result. Recommending literatures I would probably not have come across because it's not in the common, let's say, for example, IEEE, IEEE, play, I've forgotten the name. Just IEEE or ACM's book, which are like the two main uh places that you'd want to go if you want to get some good papers for, I mean, in regards to computer science, right? So they are not like in either of those ones. So it just fished that from somewhere, and I was able to learn from from the paper. So in that sense, while I was coding, interacting with the system more, I was able to I understood what I was doing better, and I was able to know what's already out there. And at some point, I had to pivot, of course. And that pivoting was even made easier because now once I see a paper that has done something like this, then I take the paper, I read the paper, I'm like, okay, this paper is kind of interesting. Okay, what should I do? And then, I can extract out knowledge from that. And that's made possible due to the interaction with the agent. So I think that's one of the most recent experience I have, which for me it was fun. It was good because there's been a situation whereby you get to the end of my field or what I'm currently doing, whatever you have to do has to novel, right? That you get towards the end to very end of what you're doing, and then at that point you realize that what you're doing is not novel, and then you're like, okay, I need to pivot, I need to do this, I need to do this, and then you know you spend a couple of more weeks just because you did not see a paper or something, things like that. So yeah, in that angle, it's really helped. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, like I've worked on a bunch of products like in the last 6 months. Um, Starting from vibe coding and then having to like realize that, oh, this thing isn't working very well, and then kind of like shift focus and just come up with different techniques to get the best. But the current models that we have now, like the clouds
Mm,
Opus 4.5, the Gemini Pro 3, uh that GBT 5.1 codecs. Yeah, I mean they're getting better. Like I think the whole hype is beginning to go down a little bit because maybe like we've seen it all. We're like, okay, what more can you do? OpenAI, Google, like I don't know if I'm the only one getting that vibe that the hype is no longer there like when it first came out. And I mean, I also noticed that even some engineers are kind of not hyped about like AI agents anymore. Like before, we used to say things like, "Oh, we're going to get replaced." Now you can see meme saying that, "Oh, we are 6 months away from getting replaced," and then you check the date, you see it's 2024. Like we are still not getting replaced. So, yeah, but for me, the experience has been quite revealing, because I think the very first project I was able to like code from beginning to the end was like a portfolio website for myself, which was built completely with AI, things like dark mode. You can see things like that. Um, I even recently added the podcast to my portfolio. Like if you go to my portfolio, you can see all the episodes from this podcast. You can see some of the Medium posts. You can see it on the website, and that was built completely with AI. So there's so many techniques that I've been able to like figure out over the last 6 months on how to get the most out of your AI coding agents. And one particular one is TDD, test driven development. And
Yeah.
that's the secret sauce to get the most out of your code, because now you're bounding that AI to a very particular specification to say, when you write this piece of code, I'm just using an example. It takes two parameters, and this is the expected result. Okay, so write uh software or piece of code or function that has A and B and then returns the addition. You can simulate that. You can write a test for that to say, okay, when you call this function, you put 2 and 3 and you expect 5. Then you write your test cases, and then the AI now has to write that function to that particular specification. So you don't have to worry about the internals, like the algorithm or the functions. All you know is, I want it to take this set of input, and this is the expected outcome. And I learned like writing tests like very extensively in one of my previous positions. So all the techniques for test, I'm familiar with it. Things like even testing interfaces, how to write tests for your interface, how to do your unit tests, integration tests, how to write mocks. So that's like my most powerful technique for getting the most out of AI. So I make sure that when you generate anything, you vibe coding or doing vibe engineering, you put in your spec, always put a test case to validate whatever the AI has done. So that's the most, like, QA probably is going to be the biggest position in tech, like QA, because now you have to actually validate. That's the one thing that AI is known for not being able to do properly. That's why even when you go to ChatGPT, you see, okay, AI can be wrong, you need to validate it. But now we have people who can automate this process. So
Mm.
you don't really have to worry that much about what the AI is generating. Once it generates something wrong, your test case would catch it if you know how to write it properly. And even the AI agent will try to gaslight you. You're trying to write the test to pass, because there's a way you can, and that's why most people don't see value in writing tests, because they don't know how to write tests. Because you write tests to pass. That's not, I have to like tell the agents, like, the purpose of writing tests is not so you can just be happy and just check, 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 everything passes.
Mm.
Because the thing is, we've spoken about it in the past as well, that this AI agent is just mirroring us, because that's the habit a lot of engineers have. They will write tests and then they'll mock, they will mock all the inputs, mock all the outputs. Like, that's not test. You're just making yourself happy that, okay, my
It's
code
working.
works. So you're not testing anything. You're not testing anything, because you've mocked the whole thing. You don't need to mock when you're writing unit tests. Probably the only thing you need to mock is maybe when you are doing integration testing, and the whatever system you want to integrate with is somewhere else, and then you have to write mocks. But
Uh,
it's very rare for you to need mocks, unless if maybe you want to connect to a remote system that you don't want to have any side effects, like maybe a remote API that you just don't want to keep using. Maybe you've written code to connect to OpenAI. You don't want it to keep calling that endpoint because it's going to cost you money. Then maybe you can mock that. But there's so many things you don't need to mock to get the best out of it. And it's also very good for you to actually write the test yourself and not tell the AI to write it, because the AI will write your test to pass. It will mirror that same habit of making tests pass. So another one is iterative development. Like people will say, my AI is generating a lot of slop. Yeah, that's because you're trying to get it to build something it doesn't know about, which you've also spoken about. Like you're trying to get it to do something it doesn't know about. It can't do it. So that's why we even have in like uh you talk about things like zero shots, one shots. Those are actually techniques that you can use. So in a way, you also have to iterate when you're building something that is not well known. The AI will first of all generate something that isn't very good. And then you have to let it know that, oh, this is not very good. We need to iterate. So use what you've already done as context. You've seen all the bugs, all the chats, all our back and forths. You've seen all of it. And then now use that to build the next version or the next iteration. Then you're going to start to see very, very good results from whatever you're doing. And then you can take that again and say, okay, let's work on the next iteration. Another project I'm currently working on is like an open source project generator, which is meant to help me spin up projects fast. So if I have a new idea, I can just say, okay, spin up a mono repo, put the front end, put the back end, put mobile folders, iOS, this and that. Um, and then he did that. We went back and forth for like 1 month, 2 months. He just kept giving me crap. Then I realized that actually the approach I'm taking is actually not even the best. So that's another thing. You also learn from it when you get to that edge of the capability of whatever model that you're working on. You now say, okay, this thing cannot go beyond this. I need to actually rethink what I'm doing. So the approach I used was, okay, we are going to use template files. And then you're going to use that template file to generate my project. It struggled with that because it's a lot of text. There's no
okay.
way it can fit in all of that text into its context to actually build something meaningful. So I changed it to say, okay, instead of you us embedding the files in the project, we know a lot of people that have written helpers like CLI tools to spin up projects. Okay, instead
Mhm.
of you saving all those embedded files in your project, call those tools to generate the file based on the name of the project. And then
Okay.
even that resulted in less lines of code because I could just say, then it's going to run that external tool and generate the file. So instead of it uh, doing some kind of textual manipulation and then generating a bunch of new stuff for me. So it's going to use that tool, and that tool is going to be very consistent. It makes even my own CLI very light because now I don't have to embed files inside the CLI. And yeah, a bunch of other ones as well. Like I kind of use it to complete features too. Like if there's this project I see that isn't up to standard, I could just say, okay, read through this project and make sure it conforms to best practices. So it's going to look at how the files are organized, the way the functions are recalled, things like the lint, is it properly structured? Do you have all the readmes? And then it's going to fix that. Then another one that I'm currently working on is actually a very big project, and we worked on it in such a way that we actually used Figma Make at at the start of it, and then I mean Figma Make is quite limited. There's very little you can edit. It's just you can't really apply that can I say vibe engineering concept to Figma Make because it's built from the perspective of designers. So I wouldn't call it an engineering tool. It's basically for just prototyping very fast. And we just did that. And they generated a bunch of files, and I copied all those files and then told the AI agent to study that file and then look at all the functionalities in that project and then use it and then build something for me from scratch, brick by brick by brick by brick. So that's another way, like the iterative development. You actually learn more, the AI agents, you learn more, and then you come up with smarter ways applying different software engineering principles, like get the best out of the AI agent.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, that was like a very real expository on different ways of using vibe engineering in this as you use in your work. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I'm feeling that I'm thinking that vibe engineer most people are not even using or they no they didn't okay. I'm thinking that most people, most engineers, even the concept of vibe engineering, they are not really aware of it. They are not using it as they're supposed to. Now, I may be wrong. I mean, I may be wrong. But I feel that is. Oh, okay. To take on that, let me ask that. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I also get that feeling that a lot of people aren't actually adopting some of these tools. They're not using it because maybe it's just the impatience, like not being patient enough to like really explore it and see how to use it. Like we've spoken about it in the past, like it's not magic, even though Nvidia, Google, Microsoft will try to sell you that, but these people are still they are still employing engineers. They still have even OpenAI. You go to their career page, you see engineers, engineers, engineers. So even they still rely on people to actually write software. So if you're thinking that whatever you're going to build, you're just going to type one command and then it will do everything for you. Like no, so most people don't have that patience. They're like, why would I spend a whole day going back and forth with AI when I can just write it myself? But if your time is very valuable and you know all these techniques, like the project I spoke about would have probably taken us maybe 2 years. What I did it in 5 days. And that would probably have taken us, I mean, kudos to Superbase. Like they've done very, very amazing work with Superbase because uh you don't even need to leave your coding environment. Even the tables and everything, you can just deploy it right from your code editor or wherever you are. And I mean, even Google is also moving towards that lane. There's this Vertex AI that they're working on that would also give you that kind of super base uh, environment so that within your Gemini or Google AI Studio, you can just prompt and then it will just generate the tables, file storage, and all of that for you. Like so, I think most engineers just gave up. Probably tried it once or twice. They saw that this thing is we just generate a lot and I'll still have to like redo it, iterate. Like, no, I'll just do it myself. I'll just write it myself. Like, I think that's just it. But the tools will keep getting better, and by the time it gets better, the people who already know how to use it will be ahead of you.
Yeah.
And you who didn't learn how to use it, by the time they put you beside um, them in an interview, because the thing is, there is nobody who is using vibe engineering who isn't an expert already. Because you can't vibe engineer if you're not a software engineer, because that's the whole point of vibe engineering. You also have to be experienced enough to know all these principles. But then there's some really experienced people who still say they will not use the AI because they would rather just type it.
So
That's their choice. Yeah, I think it has come to stay. So you just have to like get used to it, whether you like it or not. The market is going to determine what you're going to learn. So it's not you that would say, "Oh no, I'm sticking with this." No. And the thing is, uh, people actually understand, which is weird when you think about it. That you would think that engineers are the biggest um
that's
supporters or biggest fans of vibe engineering, but no, it's actually the business people because they understand the gains they can get from this thing working. Because if it can work, like me, for instance, now, what I've been able to build within the last 6 months, I would never have been able to build it in two years because I would not have the time to do it or even the concentration to be able to do it. But with this vibe coding, like I sometimes if I won't sleep 2 a.m. I'll still be sending messages because it's just so fun. You being able to cut the time from idea to being able to see it is
right.
remarkable.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to work, but just for you to prototype and get your idea to even realize, oh, does my idea even make sense? That's
Yeah.
the sell from me. And uh business owners understand this
Mm.
because we live in a volatile, fast world where just if you wait too long, someone else will release whatever you're thinking of. So he's the fastest person. And It's not another opportunity will come. Like it's not coming. He's like there's a forced entrant advantage to these things. Like some of these things that these guys do, they're not out of this world. Like, there's a reason why Apple, Microsoft, but Google are still like top because they were like pioneers.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's just the thing. Like, there's nothing they've done that someone else can replicate, but
Mhm.
they were there first.
And it
So, and
moved
that's what
fast.
I enjoy. And they moved fast.
Yeah.
That's why even now you see Google right now is winning the AI race, even
Yeah.
though OpenAI kind of made it mainstream. But
Hmm.
the way it's going is like, no, Google is going to beat these guys because they're the first to like even think of stuff like that.
Yeah. 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 And to just add the icing on top of the cake of what you've said, at Q Labs, that's QSoft Dev Labs, and QTA, that's QSoft Talent Academy, we are pro vibe engineering. We are pro vibe coding. So you signing up means that we actively encourage you to learn what you're doing with AI. You are given a project, you're given an assignment, you you'll be advised to use AI, but of course, in the using of AI, understand the basics, that's for Microsoft Talent Academy, but for Dev Labs, whichever AI agent you're even comfortable with is what we're going to advise you to use. So that's icing on top of the cake. So in case you are wondering, okay, how can I even learn this vibe engineering or vibe coding that's in discourse? How can I become be able to do things that will normally take 2 years and do it in a week or 1 month? Yeah, come to Talent QSoft Talent Academy or Q Labs, and you'll be surprised of how fast you're gonna learn. So yeah, just wanted to add
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have a growing community of developers, and some of our engineers are releasing open source tools. Like one person just released Commit Tra, which you might want to check out. So it's this CLI tool that helps you generate commit messages. So you don't have to think of commit messages. So on your when you just finish coding, you just use the commit chart tool to generate a message based on the changes that you've done. So these are some of the tools that are coming out from people in our community, coming out from me as well. Like I have a very long list of things that I'm working on. I'm going to be releasing. So these are some of the people you'll be able to like interact with. We share articles, we share the latest news. Like we are right at the tip of the iceberg. Like we're not uh we're not followers, we are leaders in what we're doing. So an AI model comes out, you can trust me that I'm testing it. I'm benchmarking all of
Yes.
it. So like I'm not finding out 2 weeks after. I'm already using it. So I can talk about some of these tools. I can show you how to use them, how to get the most out of your AI agent, and even sometimes even support you with like how to get free credits or things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's fine. Yep. Yeah, for me, I think that's all the topping points. The Yeah, and I think we had a good wrap up of pointing people to Talent Academy and Dev Labs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
should definitely check it out. Like we have big plans for particularly the Talent Academy next year. One of the products I'm working on is going to be the star project for next year, and which you're going to be able to get your hands on. Like maybe some beta testers like try it out and play with the AI tool that we're working on. So yeah, we are building an internal AI tool for the African market. So this is just for us, like no no third parties and all of that. Yeah.
as you said last week, build solutions for African problem. So this is one of the solutions for one of Africa's problem. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to us once again. We are glad that you made it to the end of this episode. Make sure to follow us on all our social media handles. The link is in the bio. Feel free to check it out. Thank you once again and see you next 2 weeks.